Welcome to the Joyful Mate podcast. Join your joyful journey mentor, Anthony Hartcher, as we explore the path to inner joy and fulfillment. Each episode we dive into the science of happiness, share personal insights, and invite you to be part of this interactive book writing adventure. You'll hear from experts in the field of joy, happiness, and fulfillment who will share their wisdom and experiences. Let's embark on this journey together. Let's make happiness part of your everyday. Hey, joyful mates, it's your joyful journey mentor, Anthony Hartcher, for another episode of Joyful Mates. This episode is around a concept I'm building, and it's around enlightenment. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's about creating light, and I'm breaking down the concept in terms of keeping a negative charge in the body and a positive charge in the mind. And by combining the body and the mind, so the positive and the negative, creates light. And that's referred to as enlightenment. So I'm just working on this concept and working out ways of which I can articulate happiness and make it actionable. So I was thinking of breaking it down into how to maintain a negative body. And what do I mean by a negative body? It's electronegativity. It's the cellular potential. We want our cellular potential to be negative. Now, how do we create that, or how do we help support that negative potential of the cell? Well, we're electric beings, and so we need to ensure that we're getting charge. And there's ways in which we can get charge. We can get charge from the earth. So the earth itself is negative, and we can gain electrons from exposing our bare feet and hands, the palms of our hands, and the feet, the bottom of our feet. I'm sure there's a better terminology for the bottom of our feet. I'm lost for words on it. But so by walking or crawling on the ground, on the grass, on the dirt, or in the sand, is ways in which we can gather electrons through our sweat glands. And so that builds up our electro potential by increasing the amount of electrons available to create electricity. The other way in which we can do it is through water. Manufacture water or metabolic water through our powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria. So we do this by converting food energy into we create ATP, and we also generate water and carbon dioxide. And that water that we generate through the metabolic processes is deuterium depleted, and it forms structured water. It forms what we know as fourth phase water or easy water. And this structured water has a cellular, it's electronegative, and it maintains its magnetism by separating the positive and negative, and it forms a battery-like substance. And so the way in which we can maintain that battery-like substance, or the water, or the fourth phase water in our cell, is through infrared light. So infrared light keeps that phase separation, keeps the water structured, or keeps it in its easy phase. And so being outside, outdoors, and exposed to infrared light, like I'm doing here, as you can see with this recording. So walking in green spaces, the green reflects, so nature reflects the infrared light, and we absorb the infrared light, and it can be absorbed inches into our body. So all our cells contain mitochondria. These mitochondria create metabolic water, and this metabolic water creates a battery-like effect within us. And we want to maintain that battery-like effect because it then generates energy for us. So we can generate energy by maintaining this cellular potential, by maintaining this battery. So some foods that help with maintaining this structure, or this fourth phase water, are like turmeric. So you've probably heard of turmeric, and turmeric mainly because of its anti-inflammatory properties and antioxidant properties, but its real power in terms of supporting the body is maintaining this electronegativity that I'm talking about, or this fourth phase water. The other one is ghee. So ghee is clarified butter. So ghee is really good. That's been shown to help maintain the structured water. And another one is holy basil, or tulsi. So that's a Ayurvedic herb, and holy basil is also known to maintain structured water. So we can do that through being outside and consuming those foods that I just mentioned. Other ways we can help maintain that cellular potential of the fourth phase water that we make in our mitochondria is by minimizing exposure to a non-native EMFs. So that's phones, is screens, that is radio, where we're exposed to mobile phone towers, or electrical transmission stations. So when we have that exposure, that depletes our cellular potential, it depletes our easy water, our structured water. So we want to minimize our exposure. Also, being around anger or anything that you feel threatened. So anyone that's threatening, or anything that threatens you, that will reduce that cellular potential. So we certainly want to maintain relationships that are supportive of us and where we're going. So that's really important in terms of maintaining that electrical charge. So I mentioned the grounding, I mentioned being outside, I mentioned being exposed to infrared light, hanging out in nature. The other way in which we can gather electrons is through natural bodied waters. So swimming in lakes, rivers, and oceans. They contain a lot of negative charge through lightning strikes. So lightning strikes the ocean, lightning strikes the earth, and this is where we can gather electrons from. So it's a great source of energy, is swimming in natural bodied waters. And it's like there's evidence out there that we can get up to 70% of our energy through the environment, and therefore we're less dependent on food sources of energy. So food's another source of energy. In terms of what's really helpful in to make that metabolic water, are fats. So consuming fatty foods, through fats we make more water. So fats make more water, proteins make more water, and we make the least amount of metabolic water by consuming carbohydrates. So by increasing the fats in your diet, so like the keto diet, that can be really supportive in terms of manufacturing more metabolic water. And the emotional health is really important too. So really managing your emotions is really, so finding things that calm you or keep your nervous system calm is really important in terms of maintaining that cellular potential and keeping it electronegative, so that we can maintain energy. As you know, and there's a strong association between energy and happiness. When we're depleted and have low energy, then it's a lot harder to feel great, isn't it? So it's really important that we maintain our energy, so that we can experience life and we can live life to the fullest. When we're doing the things we love, then we can experience more joy and happiness, and we need energy to do that. So it's really important that you do what I've suggested around getting outside more frequently, more often, eating foods containing fats. It's important when we're consuming fats that we are not creating toxic fats or fats that are rancid or mutated, and we do that through heating. If we heat certain oils, particularly olive oil and things like that, we can turn them rancid and toxic and actually take away the health benefits. So we've got to be careful in terms of how we consume fats. We don't want to have fried foods, for example. So frying is not great. Frying with oils is not great. The best consumption of oils is at room temperature, as opposed to overheating oils. Some oils can be heated more or at higher temperatures than others, and they're the ones that are solid at room temperature. However, the oils that are liquid at room temperature cannot withstand much heat, and they become denatured and toxic, and that is going to strip you of electrons Other ways in which we can lose electrons or our electronegativity is fluorine, so fluoride in the water. So making sure you're drinking fluoride-free water. Chlorine is another one. So we don't want to be consuming or swimming in chlorinated pools or consuming chlorinated water. That will also strip us of our electrical potential. The other way in which we can create electrical energy is through moving our body, so moving our muscles. They're piezoelectric, so the more movement, the more energy you create. It's important to, if you're in a sedentary job, that you have breaks, get up, walk around. I suggest you get up, go outside, experience the infrared light. 50% of the sun's rays are infrared. So 50% of the sun spectrum is infrared. Go outside, spend time outside, move the body by getting up and going outside. Drink filtered water. So that's, as I said, we want to be drinking water that's free of fluorine, fluoride, and chlorine, and also hanging out with people that are supportive of our ambitions and what we want from life. So in terms of, that's the maintaining the electrical potential or the electronegativity of our body. Now, in terms of the mind, as I mentioned, we sort of want that to be, in a way, framed as positive. We hear that positive thinking is good for us, but it's not being optimistic all the time. It's about knowing direction, knowing your life's purpose. So really getting in touch with who you are and what lights you up, and doing more of that. And that brings purpose and meaning to what you're doing, and that drives you forward. So it moves you in a forward direction, which you could say is positive. The other thing is maintaining a structured mind or order in the mind. So maintaining order. We can lose order in our mind through not putting work into understanding why we are, why we're reacting in such a way, or so not better understanding ourselves. So it's really important that we have reflective time in our day to really reflect how we're feeling, why we're feeling the way we're feeling, and to better understand what's driving those emotions, and how, and what we, and in terms of what we can do about it, is we can change our perceptions towards what's driving the emotions, whether it be actions from other people or the way in which technology is behaving for you. You get frustrated with it. So what we want to do is balance our perceptions around what's happening so that we can calm our emotions or regulate our emotions. And the way in which we do that is by looking at the other side. So if we're perceiving someone being challenging towards us, we may perceive that as being bullying or not being considerate or something like that. Then what we want to see is how that is serving us. We want to look for how that is serving us. How is the person challenging me serving me in terms of what I value? The areas that, like, so I get challenged around what I share around health. So people will challenge my views on the carnivore diet, or so I get challenged in those areas. And I appreciate those challenges because it gives me, it questions, it makes me question what I understand. And the more I question what I understand, the more I learn and grow and increase my understanding. So I must say, through people that have challenged me in my field, I've become more skillful. I've become more knowledgeable and wiser. And so I, I encourage people to challenge me and to provoke thoughts. So I'm constantly questioning what I'm learning, and constantly making sure that there's evidence supporting what I'm sharing, and making sure that I'm up to date with the latest scientific research. So once upon a time, I was sharing that fats were bad. We shouldn't eat fats, and that we should consume a more plant-based diet. And I was at one stage, really thinking that meat, we're over consuming meat, but now I'm a big advocate for meat. But this is obviously pasteurized meat. It's grass fed, pasteurized livestock, grass fed, that have been, not abused or misused or mistreated. And so I know that if we think about our sources, where we're getting our food from, we can overcome the ethical issues, and we can do what's best for us. And I've learnt that over the time. And now I look at the science, and the science strongly supports meat consumption. It strongly supports, and when I say meat consumption, it is meat consumption that has been raised in a way that is not threatening to the animal. So the animal's not under a lot of stress. They're living quite a as natural life as they can, and they're eating natural foods. So they're not eating grains, for example. A cow's not eating grains. Cows are eating grass. They're designed to eat grass. And when they're eating what they're designed to eat, then they produce, I guess, a product for us that is healthy. It has better ratios of omega-6 to omega-3. Grass-fed has higher omega-3, whereas grain-fed has higher omega-6s, and omega-6s are more inflammatory. So I'm going a bit off topic, but I just wanted to share with you that in terms of how we see challenges, we want to look at it and see how it serves us, how it benefits us. And when we see the order in what's happening around us, then we feel order, internal order within us. And this creates a more coherent mind, a mind that's more ordered. When we allow chaos to prevail by not thinking, why is this happening to me? Why am I feeling this way? And doing that reflective exercise and looking for the order. If we're not looking for the order, what it creates is a sense of feeling out of control and disordered, and that life's unfair. And when we're thinking this way, we struggle to find joy. We struggle to find fulfillment, and we continue to attract more of that chaotic thinking into our lives. Whereas if we can regulate our emotions through balancing our perceptions, then we got a more ordered mind, we have a more ordered body, and we've got a life where we can strive and strive for fulfillment, because things are working for us, as opposed to us allowing the forces of the external world to run us. That's being where we allow people and weather events and everything to govern our lives and can ruin our day and so forth. Whereas we can balance the way in which we see the world, which creates a much more coherent way of responding and taking action. And that coherence and our action will take us forward in a direction that we want to go forward in, if we're not run by the external world, if we're run by our internal world. So we certainly want to be governed by our internal world. The only way we can be governed by our internal world is if we stop, reflect, and think about what's driving our emotions. And ultimately, the emotions will drive actions. Emotions aren't regulated. It will drive irrational behavior, as opposed to rational action towards something that is most fulfilling and rewarding to you and your life. So I just wanted to share this concept of, maintaining electronegativity in the body. However, maintaining a structured and ordered mind through balancing our perceptions. And that is maintaining forward momentum in the mind, which keeps us going towards meaning and purpose, which gives us more fulfillment, which with more fulfillment, we experience more joy and happiness within our lives. So, and obviously by colliding or joining together the positive mind and the negative body, we create light, we create enlightenment. So as we know, a positive charge and negative charge collided together creates electricity and creates light. And so this is why I'm toiling with this concept about how can we maintain structure in the mind, order in the mind, coherence in the mind, so we can keep going forward towards our meaningful goals. And at the same time, how do we create and strive and hold electronegativity, or our electrical potential, cellular potential negative? How do we maintain that in order to keep the body, so the body can keep up with the mind, essentially? So that would result in longevity and you adding more value to this world if you're on, if you're on track, if you're going forward in your true north direction. So that's it. It's a concept that I'm toiling with. And as you can see, I'm still finding out ways to articulate the message, but it will get better in time. I thought I'd share the concept with you now, and I'll continue to work on it and fine tune it. And eventually it'll get to a point where I can coherently share the message about what I'm talking about. But hopefully you've got some key points from today's little conversation around enlightenment and maintaining that electronegative potential in the body and that positive, ordered, structured mind, so that you're moving forward in your direction to shine light on the world. And that is it for this episode. If you think anyone that you know could benefit from hearing this message, or just hearing some tips about what's going to help them find more joy and happiness in their lives, please share it with others, because this is all about creating a community of joyful mates. And until next time, continue to discover your joy.